Squeaky's on the windowsill, king of the throne. Charlie's got a feather toy, she's in her zone. Doobie's in the kitchen, knocking stuff down. 3 cats ruling this crazy little town.
Hi guys, how you doing today? That headache is still hanging on right here. How many days has it been? A freaking week? I didn't take anything yesterday except for in the morning. I slept a little bit. Got you a video out. I did a hyperlapse of video of Doobie playing, but it got to be in 3 minutes long, and I'm like, how much footage did you take of this little cat? So, and then I got distracted on getting non-copyright music. So I'm like, nobody wants to watch 3 minutes of this cat going very, very fast. I thought it was funny. I thought, nobody wants to watch that. Had a conversation with my mom a little bit over Facebook Messenger. And yes, I have continued to start to drink coffee this morning. So, batten down the hatches, y'all. I figure for now, again, until that pain is gone, I'm taking medicine. No, it's not an excuse. It hurts bad. Oh, anyway, the conversation with my mom went sort of like this. I like what you're doing with your channel. I like the information you're giving people about how to live with very little. When you want to write a book, I know somebody that can help you publish. And I'm like, wait a minute. I never said I was going to write a book. I'm like, Mom, I'm not going to write a book. She didn't say anything. I said, I don't have the patience to do that. I said, I have information to give people. It comes out within my rambles. Because, I mean, can you imagine me writing a book? Imagine, an unabridged dictionary somewhere about the size, about 12 feet high. And then all of a sudden there's like 2 little tidbits of information. That's how my videos run. I'm like, I just blah, 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 blah. Oh, and then this is what I do to save some money. Oh, and then blah, 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 cat, crochet. So I don't really have the patience for that. But it's like, when you're ready to write a book, I'm like, I don't think that's going to happen. Mom's been a writer my entire life. And she is published. She's on Amazon. I have digital copies of her books somewhere, probably in one of my hard drives. Got like 5 of those. I got nowhere to hook them up to find out what's on them. But she sent me copies of all of them, and I have them on one of my hard drives somewhere. I can't remember the names of all of them, and she's going to kick my butt. And I can't accurately, I'll have to ask her. I can't accurately tell you what the author name is because she used a pen name. So anyway, she's been an author my entire life, and she's published, and I don't know why she would think that I would be a good author. But thank you for that. That's nice. It's actually a very nice honor. 6 o'clock in the morning. Oh, I went outside because it was like 50 some degrees last night, and I'm like, oh, that aloe is gonna freeze. I brought it in. I took that dead piece off of there, and it started to green up just fine. That dead piece was just sitting on top, and it started to green up just fine and make sprouts. So here's what I did. Those little dirks can't reach up there. They cannot get up there. So hopefully that's a good place. Sorry, I'm still looking up. Hopefully that's a good place for them to thrive. And another thing is that piece that was hanging down got its own pot. So it's, see right there is the runner, and it's in its own pot. It's just sitting on top of all that dirt. And see, it turned green after I got that piece out. That had died. So for right now, it's living right there. That plant, sorry guys, I'm on top of my not real ladder. It's my step ladder. You're not my real ladder, you're my step ladder. It's not even mine. That's my dad's. He left it here. Apparently I'm permanently borrowing it from him. He does that sometimes. Here's a tool, because he's probably got 20 more of those. You know the Little Mermaid, her little song, you want thingamabobs, I got 20? That's Dad, literally. You need a tool or anything like that, you ask Dad, because he's got one. Or 5. And then he'll say, which tool did I give you, so I know which one to buy again. So in case somebody else needs it. That's how he is. He also, here, let me get that out of your way, Tolly Puff. Get her plate out. Doobie, would you like to finish this? Doobie, would you like to finish this? Hello, baby. Hello, baby. You can finish hers. She's all done. She's all done. He does that with food, too. Canned foods. I don't know as if it's like that much anymore. He pretty much cleaned that out. But he'd have like a whole stack of canned foods that he had gotten on sale. And if any of us ever ran low on food, he'd say, go grocery shopping in my basement. That's what that's down there for. He had our own personal family food bank for canned goods, at least. And sometimes his freezer. There was a couple of months last year, almost the entire year. I was sitting here with a ham in my freezer because he had a sale on a ham. He's like, I got 7 of these things. You need one? And then I'd run out. He'd say, you need another one? I'm like, Dad, I love you. I'm going vegetarian for a while because I'm tired of ham. I was tired of ham. What am I going to do with all of this? I don't know. Ow. Oh, there's the plate I was looking for. I did something with it. I was tired of what was in the fridge. So instead of... I could reheat that too. Instead of throwing it out, because it was perfectly good, I added a little bit of flour. Now, there had already been some cheese in it and spices and vegetables and whatever. I added a little bit of flour, a little bit of water. The grease off of the pork sausage I'd cooked the other day. And I made this. It's like a bread. And I'm going to put it in here. Probably for about 10 minutes. And let it crisp back up. And have some more. Because That was good. And then that's what I do. I tend to take my leftovers. There's some leftovers in that fridge that need to just go. And I really should just clean my fridge out because I just took my garbage out. I think I'll do that. But they needed to go because I'd burnt it. And I was determined that I was going to eat that. And then I got my groceries and I was like, and I forgot about it. So there is some food waste. Not gonna lie or deny that. And here I am, I'm gonna clean my fridge out. You're gonna see me going up and down, and you're gonna look at my light. I need my light. Maybe I don't need my light because there's a light in the fridge. Well, you guys could see that. You can't really see my face, but still. I need to get rid of a lot of stuff in here. Like this pan of food, which you cannot see. I was determined I was going to eat, and it probably has mold on it right now, but I was determined. Does that look appetizing to you? No, but I would have ate it if that's what was left. And this kitten is going to get inside this fridge. So we're going to leave this over here. And that pack has been sitting in there for I don't know how long. Anything else? Yes, ew, wow. Yes, that needs to go. And there we go. I got all the yuck out of there. Now I gotta scrape that pan out and stuff. I think what I'm gonna do is let it soak for probably the day. And then scrape it out outside. Actually, I'm going to let it sit out on the porch and let it soak. Because why has it got to sit on my counter? But yes, that is something I do. And that's going to have to be monitored because it's already cooked. I just wanted it crisped and warmed. It gets boring eating the same thing all the time. And you guys know I eat most of the time the same thing. Some sort of rice, some sort of beans, some sort of sauce. I didn't think to do it with that. I thought about it after I did it. And I'm like, ugh. Sometimes I'll take that mixture and I will make it into little tiny patties and have bean nuggets. And dip them in barbecue sauce or ketchup or even mayo, ranch, and turn them into nuggets because it's kind of like the food replicator hologram thing on Star Trek. If you ain't got it, you can pretend. Works for me. And the stuff gets eaten rather than wasted. So, like I said, there's probably maybe a cup of flour. And the rest of it was rice, beans, vegetables, cheese, whatever cheese was in there, spice, whatever was in that. Just all mixed up with a little bit of flour. Again, if you don't have something, you can pretend that you do. Works for me. That pan, I regret that I had to throw some food out, but being that color, there was no way I was going to eat that. I had it in my mind that I was. There was no way. There was no way, Tressa. Just let it sit in the fridge. Especially since, like I said, I'd gotten some good food. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't need that now. I think it was just a pan of rice. It might have been a pan of rice. Very minimal spices, because I think what happened is it was just like the day before and I was hungry. And we're going to get this out of here now. Oh yeah, it's ready. I'm not going to touch it with my fingers because for some reason I think I'm superhuman and I can touch hot things with my fingers. Here it is. Vegetables, all that. Hot, hot, hot. Crispy. There's rice in it. At the moment, when I tasted it, it doesn't taste like it needs any sauce. So, it's maybe a little marinara sauce would be good because it's spaghetti cheese. Now, spaghetti cheese seems to me to be a better deal. It'll last longer. It adds sodium, taste at least. Probably does add sodium. And it doesn't go bad. It doesn't mold. If you're not squeamish about mold on cheese, you can. And I grew up with this happening in my house. And I'm perfectly fine. Take a paper towel, some white vinegar, and wipe the mold off the top of the cheese. It's not going to bury itself in it. I know for a fact, like I said, it happened in my house a lot when I was a kid. We had to save money. There were 4 of us. And Mom was a homemaker. She had to be. We were tyrants. And we probably would have terrorized the entire world. And she probably would have come home to at least one of us that needed to be buried in the ground. Probably me. It was that bad when I was a kid with the sibling. I mean, she would wander up to me out of the blue and whack me in the face with a necklace, laugh, and then walk away. We could not be left alone together. Mom had to be there. That's great because Dad had his apprenticeships and his factory work, which did do for a family of 4. We survived. I didn't know we were just surviving because Mom was crafty and Christmas didn't seem so empty because of it. Mom was crafty. And that Cabbage Patch doll that we wanted was there that Christmas. That big thing we wanted was there. But come to find out, after being a mom, I hear the story of, I needed boots, but you wanted that for Christmas. She needed boots, and but we wanted that for Christmas. Here's a miraculous story that happened to her in that instance. She needed those boots. And she went to try them on, felt something weird in it. There was a $20 bill, just enough to buy that pair of boots inside it. I don't know how it got there, if somebody did a charity that Christmas, or an angel, or Santa Claus, or Elf on the Shelf, but Mom got inside that boot enough money to buy the boots she needed. I've done that myself, walked around. The Jamaicans here come here for the spring and the summer and leave in the early fall. Usually, some of them just stay. They'll put 5 in a car, and they have to shop for the entire complex. So you got about 50 of them. These 5 are shopping for the rest of them. So they'll put the change in a receipt and put it in their pocket. One day, because when I was working at Walmart, you're supposed to pick up, as you're going to the break room, you have to pick up the papers and the garbage and the stuff like that. I looked inside this one receipt and there was a $5 bill. And it was just before payday and I was hungry. So God provided that day. 2 instances like that. But there's been many in my life. Many. Later on, when we were older, she had gotten married and moved out. Maybe it was a little bit younger than that. Mom did get a job as a bookkeeper, accountant. She says, I'm terrible at math. And she says, I don't know what I was doing in that field, but I did it. So she did get a job later on. She told me one day, she said, I regret something. I never got to take you guys to Disney. I said to her, I said, Mom, I don't miss that. I said, I do remember you got us to Cedar Point in Ohio, the park there. I think I remember Dad blacksmithing there or something, playing a role there or something, and they got us in. They got us in somehow. I said, what about the trip with the Toonerville trolley? Up there across the bridge in I don't even remember what town it is. You get on this like open train and you go around this beautiful scenic area and you get to look at the wildlife and all that kind of stuff. That was gorgeous. And I said, how about the time we went to Pictured Rocks? And then I said, how about, what other things did they do? We toured Canada. We did a lot of tour in Canada. We went in the woods and we picked berries. Blueberries and raspberries and stuff like that. At the point in time, I didn't realize I was being taught to forage. Because we'd go around and we'd pick apples off the apple tree. And one of my favorite memories is having many kind of applesauce. Because we'd get bushels of these things. We ended up with food in our bellies that winter too. But I remember those as fun times. So that one statement, I never got you guys to Disney. I don't care. There was a point in time I could have gotten to Disney recently, but I stepped down because I knew of somebody else that needed that vacation. I would have loved to have gone, and since been asked by the people that asked me, please next time, go. But at that point in time, I stepped down. She filled my spot, which is what I was hoping would happen. Something happened in her life and she needed a vacation. Bad. So, no, I don't regret not being able to kneel at the shrine of the mouse ever. They did a lot of conferences and stuff when I was a kid, so I'm thinking that some of these things that we were able to do, like Cedar Point and stuff, had to do with the conferences. I know that we stayed in motels that had pools. Mom worked with the special education committee, and they had to go travel sometimes. So they would all have a motel, and I don't know how that was funded, if it was funded through the committee or if it was funded through mom and dad's pocket or they got a discount for a group rate or whatever. But we got to go. And we got to go because we were buttholes and couldn't be left alone. And I will 100% back this up. I didn't realize we were just making it. That's how good my life was when I was a kid. I didn't realize we were just making it. I didn't realize that you couldn't afford all the things I wanted. So you made it special by making stuff for me. Homemade, handmade. That makes me appreciate that much, much more. And I think this is where my attachment to things, my unattachment to things is because things don't matter to me. It's times like that. It's the, come on over, let's have some coffee and talk. Come on over, I need you to show me this stitch again. That's what matters to me. And I think it's because we were just making it. But they made it special. They made it feel special. I didn't miss out on anything. At all. Squeaky, do not put your face in my food. You go away. Now my little biscuit here, I'm going to go back to that. Had I taken the ingredients that are in it, mixed some water in it, a little bit of flour or cornstarch, made a gravy, and baked the bread over top of it, I would have had a pot pie. Soupy textures like that are not for me. I don't like it. I like it crispy, and I like it where it makes it feel like I'm eating junk food. When in reality, the crunch you're hearing is rice. I don't know if you could see if I put up to the camera or not. Rice does a really good job at giving you a crunch. You know, look, this kind of looks like bread. So I could be lying to you. You can see the vegetables in it. As a matter of fact, they make a cracker, vegetable cracker. Oh, and corn will crunch up for you. You make a cracker, a vegetable cracker, that has speckles in it like that. So, probably Mrs. Dash is in it. Oh, you can see the carrots. But had I added, that easily could have been a pot pie. Not my favorite texture, and I would not have ate it. I'm learning how, but I haven't had a microwave in my house since that one broke down and I got scammed on the other. I am adapting. If it's in a pan like that one with the burnt stuff, I'll just stir it up, add a little water, and put it back on the burner and warm it up that way. If it's in say this form, I'll throw it back in the air fryer and let it crisp up and warm up. And I forgot to cancel that, and it's beeping now. It cooked nothing. In a metal pan, of course. Or sometimes without putting it. If it's baked, if it's a baked good, rather than a soupy thing like that, instead of putting it on the burner, I'll put it in the oven and bake it for about 10 more minutes. You gotta watch when you're cooking, or you're gonna get burnt stuff. Rule of thumb, when you're cooking, don't walk away from the kitchen. Baking's a little different because if you're baking, you have to use your nose. I'm smelling that bread, time to check it. I'm smelling those muffins, time to check it. Leave them alone until you start smelling them. And I've eaten a piece about that big. There's all of this left. And I'm going to leave it for now. I'm full. I think with that flavor, fuzzy wuzzy, piece of yarn, I think with that flavor, if I'd flattened it out, made it round, put marinara sauce on it, pepperoni, and that, because this one does have the turkey sausage in it. Doesn't matter to me. Again, same ingredients as a pot pie. But if I'd have made that more pretty and put pizza toppings on that, that would have been a really good crust. Really good crust. So, I'll take anything and make a pizza out of it, though. Tortillas, potatoes, vegetables. I'll do a pizza bake on top of a bag of those 99-cent mixed vegetables too. Just pepperoni and marinara sauce. Pizza happens to be one of my favorite foods, and if I can't achieve it by buying one, that's a piece of my all. Pokey thing. If I can't achieve it by buying one because they're $10 to $12 for one, I find the ingredients and I make it happen in whatever form I can. That's another reason I promote buy ingredients. Because you can take they sell it now, a thing called a crimper. You put the toppings inside of a tortilla shell and it crimps it shut, and you can put it in your air fryer. Me, I just did it burrito style. Fold the flaps in on each side, start rolling it. And then there's two open sides, so you fold the flaps in on each side and then keep rolling it. And then you got it burrito style. What's the difference in that and a Hot Pocket? Except a Hot Pocket's like $5 for one of them, and a bag of 20 tortillas probably about $2. And how much is like a scoop of spaghetti sauce? How much is like 6 or 7 pepperonis? A handful of cheese? So for about, I'd say about $2. I'd say about $2 because of the price of food now. You got a Hot Pocket. Or another thing I'll do, same thing with that. I'll take the pizza toppings and I'll put it in flour and make a biscuit. Eat like a little tiny piece, like I said, a piece this size, and I'm full. Because it's packed with all that good stuff, even though there's flour in it. The flour makes it feel like sin. This kind of conversation, one-sided, this kind of conversation is what Mom wants me to write down and wants me to share with the world. And I said, Mom, I do share it with the world in my videos. And the world that I share it with are the people that subscribe to me. They deserve that knowledge. I said, my daughter and my niece already have that knowledge because I got it from you guys. Also, other research. I mean, I find this free information on Pinterest. I find it on, if you watch videos on YouTube a lot, and I assume that you probably do if you're watching me, there are depression cooking videos. There are frugal videos. There are videos about what they ate in the depression, what they ate to go get by in the 50s, those kind of things. I do my research, is what I do. And then when I find something that works for me, I share it with you. So why would I be publishing other people's information? Hello, Squeaky. You're not getting my food. That's got spices in it, and I'm going to make you sick. So, like I said, that's what Mom wants me to publish, is the knowledge that's up here. But the knowledge that's up here is already on YouTube and Pinterest and those printed books that I told you to get for your library. Your arsenal is what I like to call it. That's my arsenal. It's already there. I'd be repeating other people. I'm, like I said, these are just ways that work for me. I'm on Social Security, which probably is going to end anyway, because they're threatening to make us all go back to work. Can you imagine working next to somebody like me, though? Bina and Julie had to. Now, they're the two lucky ones that hung on and said, "You're my friend." Actually, it started out with Bina. But Bina was friends with Julie and that ogre thing. And that ogre thing's the one that put the predator in my house. I'm not going to keep up on that one. Anyway, I didn't like Julie at first because I saw that Julie, again, I am suspecting I'm autistic. She was masking. I saw through the mask. And I'm like, you're lying to me. Why do you have to act like you're an idiot when you're not? I don't like you because you're lying to me. After a while, there were circumstances that happened throughout life that I turned around and I looked at her and I'm like, I respect the heck out of you. And again, looking back at it now, she was masking. And one autistic person to another, we can't lie to each other. We cannot lie to each other. We can lie to the rest of the world and pretend that we're normal. But we can't lie to each other. And I'm thinking she may be. I know she's ADHD like I am. But she may also be. And I'm not going to go dig into her story. She's got her own channel and she doesn't share that kind of stuff. Okay? But I'm just touching a little bit in our history. So it was Bina and Julie. For the longest time, Bina and Julie showed up after I had been friends with Pam, and she moved and left me. I didn't want any more friends. I said, that slot's filled, and she left. I'm not having other people leave me. Well, they left me too. They're downstate. I never see them. Never see them. But you know what? That's what happens when life happens. Sometimes you have to move away. And I probably should have, but I was in a position where I had to be close to my payee. And now I own a house close to my payee. And my friends live elsewhere. And now my payee sometimes needs me as companionship. Sometimes needs me to find things that they could trip on, but don't see it yet. Or they do see it, but they can't reach down and get it. Which there's grabbers for that, but they tied my shoes and taught me how when I couldn't. It's my turn. And I've said this before, it is my duty. Not duty, like poop. Because they don't make me change that. Thank you, guys. But it is my responsibility and right to give back to them what they've sacrificed for me. Even if I was a turd. And that's why sometimes I talk about Dad being a turd. But I still like to take care of them any way that I can. Within reason. Because they are adults. They are grown adults. And they deserve dignity and respect. So my mom will say, please come and wash these clothes for me. I'll wash the clothes. Because their basement is down inside their laundry. Their laundry is down inside their basement. Mobility issues. Do you want to take an 80-year-old person and make them not see their feet with a basket of clothes? No. And my niece does take care of that, but sometimes she can't show up. So Mom will be like in midweek, I need clothes. I'll go wash those clothes for her. Up and down the stairs, take them down the stairs, wash them, bring them back up. I'll put them on Mom's bed and say, your job to put them away. I don't know where they go. I do that with the dishes. If I see that Mom is struggling, because those are the two. There's three things Mom does. Dad cooks, and he takes care of us and drives us. Still, Mom dishes, puts the laundry away, and scoops the litter box. However, if I see that she's struggling with any of those, I just step in and do it. And then, like the dishes, I'll say, oh, I'd washed your dishes, but you got to put them away because I don't know where they go. Which is true. Because if I don't put them in the right spot, Dad'll be like, where's that thing? People were in here organizing, deciding where my stuff needs to be, and now I can't find it. I understand that too. You've seen I know where that yarn is. And it's right there on a pile. If I move that yarn where I think it should be, I've lost it. I don't know where it went. And I'll be looking for it, and everything will be on the floor. And I'll find the yarn, do my project, and everything's on the floor. Because I'm doing what my mind said I needed to do. I am understanding Dad a lot more than I was through my self-diagnosis. And the scooping of the litter box, she can definitely bend over and take care of that, and she does. She takes care of what she thinks she can take care of. And I let her because, again, they are grown adults, and that's dignity. But that's a big litter box. It's a big cat. And my niece or I, usually my niece, because I always go over there and then nothing needs to be done with the litter box. So my niece does it. Thank you, Bear. One of us picks it up and empties. I cannot talk. Empties that one out for them. But Mom's perfectly fine scooping it. So like I said, dignity. But help. They did that for me. They gave me dignity, but help. That's the way life is supposed to be. The Asians, specifically the ones that I'm thinking of, because it's the ones that come to mind, They live with their generations in one home. Grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, kids. Everybody takes care of the generation before them, as the generation before them are raising the little ones in China. And I've heard that in most parts of the world. Can you imagine, though? My mom and dad and everybody living under... Oh, see, Americans don't do that. Americans shove their parents in an apartment they don't know where they're at, assisted living, and go on vacation. Or they move away to Alaska when your parents live in New York and call them every Christmas, maybe. But most other places in the world, families take care of each other. The Native Americans, I believe the elders took care of the infants. I mean, the mommy fed them, of course. The elders and the aunts and uncles. The uncles would teach the boys to hunt. The aunts would teach the girls to take that hunt, skin it, make the skin into material. You'll process the animal. The parents, I don't remember what the role of them were, but it takes a tribe to raise a child. It took the entire tribe, and they had their own place to do it. Their own place in that society to do it. But it took an entire tribe to raise everybody's child, not just their own. And I do believe that the teenagers and, well, I mean, back then you didn't live very long. So like when you were 24 and you were a grandma, that happened. That happened. Because you didn't live that long. But I think the ones that were coming up, and I have food in my hand because I'm fidgeting with it. Coming up, the ones that had just grown into adulthood or whatever took care of the ones that raised them. They all took care of each other, and it just makes so much sense. Americans don't care. Us ones that live here now, we don't care. So, Mom, this is to you. When you fumble with your zipper, when you fumble with your shoes, and I need to step in and tie them for you because you can't reach down and get it, because your knees or your back, or you can't grasp the zipper, so I zip your coat for you. You did that for me. And you taught me how. That's why every time you tell me I messed my computer up and I have to show you to move the screen from this monitor to the other monitor every time, probably 3 times a week. It's been different lately. I think you've caught on. I will just do it and not complain about it. I don't even have a complaint about that. You would have did it for me. You did that for me. Repetitive things over and over so I would learn and have. Basically, by having me, you paid it forward. Now I get to pay it back. And again, that is my right to do so. In my job. If it hadn't been for them and their resourcefulness, I can't talk sometimes. It just comes out blah, 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 blah. I would not have what I do have. And I don't mean things again. I mean capabilities. If Mom My mom liked to do beadwork. You know what she did? She went to resale shops. She found those ugly Christmas sweaters with all that beautiful, gaudy beadwork on it. Those were glass beads. I don't know how many hours and days we took to separate colors. Kept us busy. But my mom, all of a sudden, for 25 cents, had, and back then this was a lot of money, $10 worth of beads. Leather jackets became moccasins. I remember going through, Mom, here's a jacket. Is it leather? Yes, we'll buy it. It was $1. Resale shops were pretty darn reasonable. Resale shops were for poor people back then. Now they're all bougie and they think that they're boutiques. But back then they were for poor people. So for $1, you got a family's worth. And yes, we wore moccasins. The reason we wore moccasins is we did, and we didn't wear them like daily because we had our own shoes. But we'd wear them reenacting up at Fort Michilimackinac. But for $1 and their ingenuity, 4 people had pairs of moccasins. So if it wasn't for their resourcefulness, I wouldn't have what I have. And that's another reason I share. And yes, I do. You have to sift through the rambling, the ADHD rambling. But that's another reason I share with you, my viewers. Because you think that I am important enough to listen to. Thank you. The knowledge that I have is because these were gifts that they gave me that I would like to share with you if you don't have them. She went silent, so I don't know if she took me seriously or not. Pam, that hurricane's coming towards her. And I don't know what the intensity of it is now, or because she sent me some sort of news clip on it, and I'm not sure how scary this thing's going to be. But I told her, I said, stock up on beef jerky and chipped beef in a jar. You know the really salty pieces of beef that are in a jar that you can go buy? I'd forgotten that she actually put up her own chicken stock. She canned it, jarred it, put it in a jar. So I'd forgotten she did that. But I told her, I said, get some beef jerky and chip beef in a jar, because meat is going to be, if your power goes out, meat's going to be sparse. It's going to be affected. The reason I said that is you could take a hunk of beef jerky, which is full of salt, and rehydrate it in your food when you're cooking it. And it's shelf stable. That is why beef jerky exists. Beef jerky is not supposed to be a snack. You're not supposed to just bite it off like that. Matter of fact, leather jackets never used to have chemicals in it. They'd bite that off too. Way back when they had to process their own deer and things like that. They'd bite that too. They'd bite the leather. But beef jerky is preserved that way for travel without refrigeration. And you rehydrate it in your food. It's not supposed to be a snack. That's why it's so salty. The salt preserves it. So that's why I said, in that chipped beef that I'm talking about, that it's in a smaller jar. And you get like a stack of it like this. My dad makes SOS out of it. If you don't know what that is, a lot of people know what it is. He also does eggs in it. Eggs. I can't remember what he calls that. And my nephew Nick, he likes the egg one. I think he puts the beef and the eggs in it. SOS. I'm going to say it politely. Stuff on a shingle. The shingle being toast. The stuff is basically gravy with the chipped beef and sometimes eggs. And you pour it over the toast. That's what I think that jarred chipped beef is for. And you're supposed to cut it up in little pieces. And what's in that is salt and spices. That's another thing that's in the beef jerky is spices. All that salt and spices is enough salt and spices to flavor your meal. That's why they're preserved that way. Anyway, I told her to stock up on those things. Well, apparently I'm feeling better today because I'm just yak, even though it's still right there a little bit. Also, hi. Oh, handsome. What you doing? He's been living on me this whole time. I let one go on him and he turned his head. Because sometimes he's laying there and I just have to. And I'm like, you've been on me for hours, so toot. He turns his head like this. I got it on video too, because I'm kind of gross like that. And he gets up, he walks over to the end of the bed and starts cleaning himself. Wow. Mom said to ask people to write in the comments any ideas they would like to share on how to be frugal in your life. I will not pick it apart. I will not allow other people to pick it apart. If they start picking it apart, I'll kick them off my channel. Mom said, start this as a sharing community. If I don't have community around me, make community. People helping people. So feel free, because I'm sharing my info, feel free to do that. I'm not going to judge you. And if other people do, they're going to get their own bad breath back in their face, because I'll tell them off. You know I will. You've seen my tell-off videos. That is not allowed here. That is not accepted here. And if you're too shy and you just want to hear me spout off or laugh at the fact that I look like the Mad Hatter or a rock troll, that's cool. There's nothing I can do about that either. And again, thank you for being here. But I'm not going to pick you apart. I will ignore some people. I believe there are guys spamming me. One says, hola, amor, every once in a while. I'm like, I don't even know you. How can I be your love? Another one said, I like your videos. You're cute. And another one, he puts emojis on there. Like, he put on there, I'm saying he because it looks like a man's name from a different country. My toilet one, he put hearts and laughs on it. I think he thinks that my toilet idea is funny, but it's good, that it works. So that's how I'm interpreting that. I'm not tearing that apart at all. However, I do ignore comments like that. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for, but I don't answer it because sometimes I think it's spam and I don't know how to answer you if you do need an answer. So I'll address it like this. I was not understanding the emoji ones at first, and I'm like, why is he giving me the heart but laughing at me too? Because that video that I did was funny. You don't normally plant stuff. Oh, by the way, my onions need to be trimmed again today. You don't normally plant stuff in a toilet. That's just funny. It is funny. But it's a good idea. And I could love that idea as well. So I will be trimming my onions and my garlic today. That leek did nothing. It rotted. I was like, whatever, you know, food for the rest of the plants. My chickpea, it's starting to turn into a vine. And again, it's not going to produce anything because it was late in the season, but it was pretty to watch. I like to grow things to watch them grow sometimes, even if they don't make something. It still gets me outside to attend to something rather than what you see, me being in the bed all the time. You see me being in the bed all the time, but I'm not. Because if I was, how did my trash get out to the side of the road to be emptied? Squeaky didn't do that. Charlie and Doobie didn't do that. I did. And whether informed delivery says I do or not, that says I have mail or not that day, I go out and I check my mailbox. So I'm out there, even in the wintertime, 2 or 3 times, unless it's a storm. If it's a storm, I'm in here in bed watching YouTube. Bed is comfortable. Bed is my comfort zone. But if it's just a regular old day, it's hazy, there's maybe a little snow on the ground or whatever, I'm out there. I'll walk to the road a couple of times a day because I get bored. I don't like sitting in this same spot all the time. It's boring. So, like I said, you see me in bed all the time? I'm not. I'm doing stuff. Believe me, I'm doing stuff. I just don't video it. But I am going to go now. I have things on my mind. I was shredding this ball of yarn because I like the colors. Those are my colors, purple and green. And I was mixing it with cotton because you can do that. Generally, if you get a cotton yarn that has a sparkle in it, it's some sort of plastic. So I mixed plastic with cotton and was creating with it. So I want to do that some more. And I'm going to say, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. I'll see you later. Have a great day. Bye.